When the right people come together at the right moment, when they care almost as much about winning as they do about each other, they can become the best of the best.
Welcome to the best soccer show, the best soccer show in the whole world.
Here we go! It's the best soccer show. Jason Davis, Jared Dubois, live and in effect on a Thursday night. Talking American soccer. Talking... What else we talking about, Jared?
Diminutive Argentinians?
Did anything happen in the last couple days that merits discussion on an American soccer show? I'm not aware of anything in particular, except for the fact that, yes, Lionel Messi says he's coming.
The greatest player of all time coming to MLS?
Do you think he's the greatest player of all time? Before
It's
we get
hard.
to the
I always feel these conversations are hard because I didn't get a chance to witness Pele and Maradona in their prime. I could watch clips, but
Sure.
those are always edited to show their best stuff. So I will say in the time that I've been alive and I've been watching soccer in my 40-some years, he's the best player I've ever seen.
That is a good qualifier. I can't tell you if he's better than Garrincha. I can't tell you if he's better than Pele. I can't tell you if he's better than the great players of Real Madrid of the 40s and 50s or whatever.
He's the GOAT, the greatest of all my time.
That's terrible. Don't say that again.
Just
Did you
saying.
say goat?
Yeah.
What? I don't know.
It's like Gorp. It's like Gorp, like trail mix.
What is Gorp? I don't even know what that is.
You
What
ever
is
heard
that?
like trail mix? Like it's nuts and M&Ms and stuff like that and raisins.
But why is
Gorp.
it called Gorp?
I don't know. That's what people call it. I don't name things.
Does it stand for something? Is it like granola?
Greatest of all
ostrich
raisin
balls?
products?
There is no such thing as a great raisin product, and I swear
Raisinets?
No, you can't cover it in chocolate. And say it's
Oatmeal
good.
raisin. Oatmeal chocolate chips better than oatmeal raisin.
Yes, absolutely. Oatmeal chocolate chip is better than oatmeal raisin because raisins blow. Raisins are terrible.
Yeah.
No one should eat raisins. That's
They're
the
the
message
prunes
of
of
this show.
grapes.
Now, we are, look, if you can't tell, we are excited about the Messi thing. I think we do need to discuss, Jared, kind of where you fall in the bigger picture of good or bad for MLS. You are a fan of the first club to do the bring over the famous European player and make the world about him for a while, David Beckham. I know you're personally responsible for David Beckham coming to Major League Soccer, so this is David
me
Beckham.
and Alexi Lawless.
Fill in this blank. Lionel Messi coming to Major League Soccer is David Beckham times...
Man, it is David Beckham times 3.
That's it? That's what you think it is?
Well, here's
David
the thing.
Beckham times 3.
There's things that it will not be that David Beckham was, and I'll get to those first.
Okay.
He will not have the ability to do the American media the way David Beckham did.
That is 100% true. I do not deny that fact, but I don't know that. Okay, well, I'll debate you on these individual points after you finish your list. Go ahead.
I think that is a significant thing, in that also David Beckham has the luxury of being first.
You mean that that Lionel Messi is not going to go on Jimmy Kimmel and therefore it's not as big of a deal? Is that what you're saying?
Even
to me?
Zlatan was a fantastic talk show guest.
But how many people watching the show going into and we could debate this too. Like I think, look, I live in more of a soccer bubble than even you do, right? Yeah. That I am inside my little world, and especially since I do a radio show every day.
A satellite-shaped bubble.
What a time to be on the radio, Jared.
Oh,
Talking American soccer. What a time.
Were
what
the
a
calls
time
flowing?
To be. Calls
Were the hot takes hot?
Oh, the takes are lukewarm, but the calls are coming fast and furious. I mean, look, some people are not necessarily sold on Lionel Messi's impact on American soccer, which I will debate them. I have no issue with your belief that maybe it's not going to be game-changing in sort of monumental ways.
Yeah.
But I do have lots of reasons to think that this, no matter what happens, it's a success for MLS right now.
I don't
before he even
disagree with
signs
that.
the damn
And
contract.
I'm not trying to be a hater on Messi. You just asked me a question to defend it a little bit further.
Yeah.
Beckham didn't have to be compared to anything. Like, Beckham was the first. He was the first guy to come over, and do this, and do the designated player thing, to do the big contract thing.
Okay.
But Messi's going to be compared to that in terms of attendance, penetration. That's a word.
Oh man, I don't think you should say
market
that.
penetration.
By the way, that does give me a chance to debut. We were trying to work out what drop makes sense for Lionel Messi, and look, this is what.
Hello to my little friend.
That's what we came up with.
That's our little friend. He's our little friend. Get down in Miami.
Lionel Messi is our little friend. Is that what
He's
you're
gonna be
saying?
our little friend. He's gonna be all of our little friend.
Who is delivering?
Hello to my little friend.
Okay, so Lionel Messi is the little friend. So in this metaphor, is somebody wielding Lionel Messi?
Sure, Tata Martino.
Tata Martino is wielding Lionel Messi. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, Lionel Messi.
Tom says reach sounds better than penetration. So his reach around the world is
don't
better
say that
than
either. No, don't say that either. No, that's.
Damn, dog. That's
You knew exactly what you were. Don't act like you didn't know what you were doing. I knew what you were
talking about.
His reach around the world is better than his penetration. Is that what you're telling me? Okay.
Yes.
Right. All right.
Well,
Go ahead.
what he has over Beckham?
Yes.
Multiple Ballon d'Ors.
No, it's not. But it's just not about okay. I think it's interesting to compare fame. Okay, but it's obviously not
That's
just
what it's about though.
No. I know. I said it's interesting to compare it. What I'm saying is David Beckham was famous for being a very, very, very good soccer player. I'm not saying he wasn't great at some point in his
Ballon d'Or
career.
nominee.
Sure, a very, very, very good soccer player. And we're at one point world class. I think it's fair to put
I would say
David
at
Beckham
his
in that.
position. Yes.
Sure, at his position. David Beckham was also famous in a pop culture way because of both how he looked and the things he was involved with and because of who he married, right? Because he was famous for being part of a power couple with Posh Spice. Lionel Messi is not pop culture famous the way Beckham is. But I think Messi's fame in soccer is so big that it bleeds into areas that you would think are more pop culture than soccer, than sports.
No one is deifying Beckham. Messi gets deified.
Nobody's deifying Beckham. Right. He might have a statue somewhere. Oh, he does in L.A. It's terrible. It's ugly.
It's not great, but it's okay.
Okay.
But Messi is. You could make the argument that Messi is the most recognized person in the world.
Yes, you could absolutely make that. Do you know what I told my wife?
Jesus probably got him beat. I don't know.
No. You know what I told my wife? My wife, my wife was working yesterday at one airport. She came home for an hour before she went off to another airport, and she asked me how my day was, and I said, "Oh, Lionel Messi's coming to Major League Soccer," and I was obviously worked up to tell her about this, excited, and she is not a soccer person.
Okay.
But she knows who Lionel Messi is. She obviously knows some things about soccer from my career.
She also knew who David Beckham was, right?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Is there a woman alive that doesn't?
I would bet that there's a 50-50 shot she does. Okay, I can't bet a 50-50 shot, but there's a 50-50 shot she doesn't know who David Beckham is.
He's only appealing to a portion of the women.
If she does know who he is, it's like, oh yeah, that guy, whatever. I know who he is, but I don't remember his name. She never remembers anybody's name anyway. But when she was, I was like, oh, she's going to Miami in 2 weeks for work. And I was like, hey, maybe I could figure out a way to get a babysitter for the toddler, send my oldest off somewhere, and go to Miami with my wife, sort of go down there to spend some time with her. She's going to be working, but spend some time with her. Also double up on the hotel room that's paid for by her employers, and maybe get some access to enter Miami, right? Like you leverage WNBC to get some access to people. Now, she's like, why don't you get Lionel Messi? And I said, well, that's sort of like trying to do an interview with the Pope. And she was
why
like,
don't you put both your worlds together since you're going to Miami? Why? If only you had a tank top you could wear to Florida.
Oh, is that how you want to do this? You want to throw this in here
I'm just saying, if you're going to Miami,
okay,
and you're gonna be going out where the sun's out.
So you're advocating for me to wear something that shows off my proverbial guns.
Yes.
While talking to people at Inter Miami about the signing of Lionel Messi.
The time of day you wear, it's up to you.
What if it was a tank top with the guns out, but I was wearing a nice blazer over the top of it? What if that was the look? What do you think?
You want to be a man in a blazer?
No.
Let's show. First of all, shout out to our boy Nikki Supasad and his wife Sarah, who came up with they were able to make an idea, an actual product out of the idea that I had, This is available in our merch store right now. For those who go on the podcast, I would describe what we're talking about here. You guys got to check out our merch store. Available in it now is the Suns Out, Bala Guns Out tank top, ready for your trip to Vegas for Nations League. Available in both men's cut and women's cut. You guys, you got to get the shirt of the summer, and Jason needs to get one for his trip down to Miami.
Apparently, I would ask Nicholas Soup and Salad to throw the actual URL for the shop in the chat so I can read it out, because I don't remember what it is, and we haven't bought the actual best soccer show, URL or
the link is
domain.
in our notes. You can go there now. You might even be able to see some of these shirts in the store on our YouTube page.
Okay, that too. I won't. Yeah, it's in the show notes if you're listening on a podcast. It's in the notes if you're watching on the YouTube or whatever. We actually did go ahead and pull. Give a little extra flavor.
Okay, assholes. Sun's out, guns out.
Okay, so that's not Bala Guns Out, but it's pretty close, and that's Archer saying it. You know how Archer fits on this show. So there you go. We
got Tommy's. Tom says he's already ordered one. Freddie's already says he's ordered one. Appreciate you guys supporting the show. It's a great way to support the show. As you guys know, we're independent now. This is a way that we support ourselves. Nick, like I said, shout out to Nick's wife, a graphic designer who was able to take the idea, run with it, and make what we think is one of a great design and something every U.S. soccer fan should have this summer.
Nick did throw it up there. It's thebestsoccershow.creator-spring.com. Pretty simple, okay? Go get your shirt of the summer, Suns Out, Bala Guns Out. If I was going to Miami...
It's the shirt to wear at every Inter-Miami game across the country this summer.
At any American soccer event, Suns Out, Bala Guns Out, because, Bala Gun is ours. I was going to say, if I go down to Miami, I don't know if it's going to happen, but if I go down to Miami, she said, get an interview with Messi, and I said, that's sort of like getting an interview with a pope. And I don't know that, because that's what the level I'm thinking this is. Like, David Beckham is like a very famous person, like Tom Cruise, right? He's in that. He's in that stratosphere, I think.
Absolutely.
But Lionel Messi's the Pope, right? Everybody knows who Lionel Messi is. Now, there might be Americans who are like, I don't know who that is, of a certain age. Men of a certain age in particular are like, I don't know who that is. Get Tom Brady back over here. Like, that's all they care about, right? But if you polled 1 out of every 10 people on Earth, 9 of them are going to know who Lionel Messi is. And that's a different stratosphere of popularity and fame than Beckham ever brought.
Let me ask you a question, and this is going to get to a question here from Adam, or Stephen from Adam. Let's talk about the Messi turned down $1 billion plus from the Saudis. What is that market recognition worth? Obviously, Saudis thought it was worth 1.6, according to the most recent reports, that they did a second offer up to $1.6 billion. Yet Messi chose the U.S. And now, without getting too geopolitical about this, there's reasons. But there has to be a significant financial... MLS had to step up with something significant financial to compete with that.
We did get some details from The Athletic the day of the deal going public, when I think it was Guillaume Balaguer was the first one to tweet it out. I'll get to that. But I will say that you don't have to go in a geopolitical place to think that some people may not want to live in Saudi Arabia for cultural reasons. And that's not to say that they are like anti-Muslim or anti-Saudi or whatever. It's just that's not the place that they want to live. Like
I was shocked that Cristiano Ronaldo went someplace that required you to be married and he's not married.
I do think that if you do have a certain level of spending power, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are. You can spend your way into being comfortable. That's part of it. But again, culturally, I just think it makes sense. And lots of people were saying before this even happened, and this is why people in Miami were saying, hey, don't count us out. They were saying Messi he shouldn't care about money, right? He has more money than he will ever be able to spend. The only reason that I could conceive of Messi going after the money, which is gargantuan, is number one, to be that guy that gets that money, to be able to always say, no athlete has ever been paid like I was paid, right? And if he cares about the competition with Ronaldo, he could get one over on Ronaldo by taking the contract. Or he just wants to spread it around, right? He's got people in his family that depend on him. He's got people back in Argentina who depend on him. He's got kids, and he wants to set them up for life. I don't know. Maybe he'll take a Bill Gates approach to that. Who knows? But that's the only reason I could conceive of to go after that money. And by the way, worth pointing out, he's already getting a big chunk of cash from Saudi Arabia. He's already getting some. So I think his thought was, keep the family comfortable. Miami is a lot more like living in, Barcelona or in Buenos Aires or whatever than it is than Saudi Arabia is.
Well, let's look at who Messi is as a person as well. Like, just look at what's already happening. Messi comes to Inter Miami, and Busquets looks like he wants to follow. You've got Luis Suarez that looks like he wants to follow. Who's following Cristiano Ronaldo to Saudi Arabia? Honestly, let's talk about honestly, is there a teammate that? But not to the same team, though. Not to the same team. They're going to different teams. So, who? I think it says something about who Messi is as a person, that the guys that played with him want to keep playing with him. That who he is as a person and what he is as a teammate. I think that's something that says that he's a different personality than Ronaldo. Which one's good, which one's bad is up to people to decide.
No, I don't want to make a value judgment here, but I think that whole thing is interesting because for their entire careers, since they sort of burst out and became the rivals, and obviously at Real Madrid and Barcelona it was so intense, that rivalry. They have been opposites in the sense that Ronaldo does everything publicly, and he wants people to look at his incredibly ripped body, and he wants to be showing off, and he wants everybody to validate him with all the social media and all this stuff.
Messi rocked a mullet for a decade.
Messi is a blank canvas, right? Messi, I'm not saying that he has better values. I'm not making that value judgment. All I'm saying is that he's a blank canvas, and for the last 20 years, people have been able to paint that canvas with whatever imagination they have of Lionel Messi and who he is, right?
I think it's fair to look at the teams, too. Like, Cristiano Ronaldo teams were Cristiano Ronaldo teams. Like, it was Cristiano Ronaldo and a team, whereas Messi was Barcelona and they had Messi. Like, it's a different style of play, a different mindset. Everywhere Ronaldo went, it was a 10-plus Ronaldo kind of situation. Not to say that Messi's not a cut above Barcelona, but they played through everyone, not into just Messi.
Right. Well, that actually does kind of get us to a point of this thing. Now you brought up what was on the table, what MLS, what American soccer, what American companies, or sorry, not American companies, companies in period, offered him to entice him. Now, nobody thinks that he is getting close to what the Saudi Arabian club offered him, or the league, or the PIF offered him. Nobody thinks that, right? We're not under any illusions that he's matching that offer by coming to Major League Soccer. But clearly, I think that, look, he's going to get paid handsomely by Miami, some sort of amount of money. Again, nowhere near $500 million or whatever it is, but, some amount of money up front. Then he's got the Adidas profit-sharing deal, right? Then they've also said, this is pretty well sourced, that Apple is going to give him a piece of subscriptions. Now, there's no ceiling on that. You know what I mean?
This is something that's very different between Beckham and Messi, in that Beckham had eyeballs as well, but the broadcasting rights are different. Anyone can sign up for Apple TV Plus in the world.
In the world. That's
you
why
didn't have to have someone showing the games in your country like you did with Beckham.
That's why this is already a huge success for everybody involved, right? The second that Lionel Messi, the second that Balagay tweeted it, but even beyond that, when Messi finally clarified his future with the interview in Spain, ever since then, MLS has been raking. I mean, we're guessing here, but nobody believes, with the social media numbers, right? Inter Miami added like 5 million followers on their Instagram.
There's not enough
in
silk screeners in Miami right now to keep up with this.
They absolutely. They're going to be printing money over this. Apple is going. So we were talking about this in the Besties Slack. And by the way, if you want to join the Besties Slack and be part of the conversation, also get a discount on your Besties gear, or your Best Soccer Show gear. Sign up at patreon.com/thebestsoccershow. How many times the existing number of subscriptions has Apple TV Plus gotten out of MLS Season Pass in the last 24 hours?
No idea, but it's got to be huge.
No, I'm saying, what would your guess be? We're just spitballing here.
Oh,
do you think they doubled?
Here's the thing. I don't think so yet. I think the it's going to happen when his first game comes around. Right now, what's the point? I don't think there's enough casual interest in MLS to start watching games before he's even playing.
No. But I think you underestimate the fanaticism that is following your favorite player.
So you think people just want to see what Inter Miami, where he's going, what they look like?
I'm saying people don't. I'm saying people haven't thought it through. They know Messi's coming to Major League Soccer. Oh, Major League Soccer has a half-off deal on the season pass, and it's whatever. Let me go buy it right now.
Jason, I didn't know what streaming service my Open Cup team game for my LA Galaxy was last night until I looked it up last night because I wanted to watch it. I wanted to turn it on. I was like, crap, how do I get this?
This is different. I mean,
they'll get some subscriptions. I just think the bigger spike is going to be around his first.
No, I don't doubt that there won't be a spike then too. I just think that it's very possible that MLS Season Pass is going to have double the number of subscriptions sold by the time Messi ever steps on the field from what they have now. And I think that's probably I think that's pretty conservative for what his reach is, his reach around the world. I think that his reach around the world is so big. We're talking about billions of people. I'm not saying billions of people are buying MLS Season Pass. I'm not saying billions of people are suddenly interested in Major League Soccer. But I'm saying that when you're talking about the number of people that you then can, if MLS converts 1% of the Lionel Messi fans into MLS Season Pass subscribers, that's massive for them.
Now, what we don't know is what percentage she got covered. No one's reporting that yet, right? What the percentage is?
No. Nobody's saying that exactly.
I mean, if you watched Air recently, the Nike story about Jordan, like this is the move. It's like, how do you own your image, or how do you own like your own value? $1.6 billion is nice. It's a paycheck. That's fantastic. But he's going to own a piece of MLS for the next years while he's doing this. Like the level that he could take this to, if he's betting on himself, betting on his ability to move subscriptions with Apple. Like he could crap out and come out way under, but he could also hit the lottery on this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, and I don't know that it matters all that much based on the commercial stuff he's already got going on and the amount of money that he has to his name already, right? And he will have earning power post-career in a way that probably no athlete ever has.
You think it's right? Not, and here's the rising tide lifts all boats kind of thing. It just got way easier for every GM in MLS to sign South American talent.
Absolutely.
Sign talent for anywhere. If you could play against Messi, and for Argentina, your check's going to cash. We've been talking about that for a while. Why are Argentinians coming to the U.S.? The checks cash. You are already getting your toe into these markets because you have the infrastructure to support it. Now you have these eyeballs.
It's hard to know what the conversion rate will be. It's hard to know how many players who have other options will now put MLS at the top of their list because Messi is going to be here. But that awareness is priceless. Like just the idea that people know who you are. That a billion more people are suddenly more aware of MLS than they were yesterday. Like that is something that companies will pay through the nose for. Just that ability to put their product or the name of their product or the idea that they exist in front of eyeballs.
I mean, Salt Bay is going to be at the half line on the first game. It's going to be fantastic. It's a big week for? This is a big week for? All the dudes that hustle T-shirts outside stadiums. Oh, baby.
You think it's
those
big,
guys,
right?
They're the first ones with the Messi jerseys. They already got them. I saw two of them like on the U.S. Open Cup game. Like on the somehow guys already got two with the name on the back. Like the dudes that hustle T-shirts outside. Oh my God, they're about to clean up.
Yeah. So let's ask this question: who do you give the most credit for? I mean, we're presuming this is going to happen. It's not quite signed and sealed and delivered. But who do you give credit for this finally? I mean, is this just on Messi being savvy with it, or just wanting to be in Miami, taking his family to a place that is comfortable for them?
The package had to be right, and it had to be marketed correctly. I would say, I'm sure David Beckham played a bigger role than people want to say in terms of
he went to Paris like 2 months ago and was spotted at training hanging out with all those guys and photographed with Messi.
I guarantee you Jorge Mas was working those phones as well.
For sure.
I don't know how much I put on Garber, Quarter Mesh, and stuff like that. They have to sign off on some of this stuff, I'm sure. Honestly, I put a lot of it on Apple. I bet you Apple played a huge role in this.
Well, so it's a two-way street, the MLS deal. And look, I understand all of the issues that people have with Major League Soccer going to Season Pass, right? I understand, you're putting a lot of your product behind a paywall. People don't even know where to find it. Lots of things. Although I think, again, maybe because I'm in a position of privilege of being able to pay for it or have access to it or whatever, that, the production values going way up is definitely worth it for me and all the extra stuff. I know also the timing of the game is a question. But that's a two-way street, right? MLS had to get Apple to believe that their product was worth even the contract they gave them, which, you break it down by individual team. It's not all that much, right? It's not like MLS cleaned up the way that the NFL does. Nowhere near that. But MLS was way ahead of the curve in saying, We're going to pull away from regional networks. We're going to pull away from these piecemeal deals with national broadcasters. We're going to take all of our product. We're going to put it under one roof. We're going to sell it as a package. Again, it's easy to say, well, Apple made a smart move here, but MLS had to pitch Apple, and they had to say, yeah, okay, we believe enough in you. And I'm sure that MLS said, I'm sure in the pitch deck when they were selling the idea of Apple doing season pass, there was a picture of Lionel Messi in there wearing an Inter Miami jersey, like photoshopped in. I guarantee you it was part of it, because MLS was saying, look, there's a chance. This is the kind of name we can get. We can go out and get Lionel Messi. We believe there's a chance. Take a bet, take a risk. We deliver him. You're golden.
I like this chat right here from Mike. We got Mike's drop handy.
Do we have Mike Strop handy? Is Mike right here? Oh, there we go.
Michael freaking Orozco Fiscal.
Dude,
Still the best.
If Michael Orozco got residuals for every time his name was mentioned.
Oh. I hope he becomes a coach in MLS one day, just so it has a life of it.
I don't know where he was. He was in Orange County. Where's he at now? Where's our man Michael?
I think he's still Orange County. I think he's still playing there.
No. He hasn't played this year for them. He played last year. He hasn't played this year.
Mike Thomas in the chat saying Beckham deal still paying dividends for MLS. If he's not an owner right now, it doesn't happen. The guy got out of his deal. He got ownership stake, right?
Yeah.
And this is the coming full circle kind of moment.
And
I'll give Garber credit for that.
Well, you can go all the way back. Okay, you can go all the way back to Beckham executing his option. I don't remember what year this was. I mean, we're talking 2014. Somebody look up when David Beckham made the announcement that he wanted to bring MLS to Miami, because that was way before Miami kicked off, right? Way before there was an actual club, because they had so many problems trying to figure out the stadium deal and all this stuff. And, it would have been easy for MLS to say, this is taking way too long. Your stadium situation is a disaster. We're not doing any of this, right? This is going to make the league bad. In fact, I said it on the radio.
I didn't think we should go back to Florida.
It made the league look terrible, the way things were going in Miami, right? They had multiple big money people back out. Todd Bowley was attached at one point. He backed out. The Moss brothers, finally David Beckham.
Fiasco that they had once they got started.
Well, that's after they got started. But my point is that if the league doesn't say, okay, David, give it a shot, if they also don't, smooth the path, because you could argue if everything was fair, Miami wouldn't have a team right now. Like, if you were measuring Miami by the standards of some other MLS expansion cities, do they deserve a team? They didn't have a stadium deal. They didn't, lots of problems.
They've already lost one team.
Right. So, they'd already lost one team. Lots of reasons for MLS to say no, thank you. If they don't say yes, they don't greenlight him Inter Miami. If Beckham doesn't find the Moss brothers and get them to buy in, if so many other things don't happen, it's not this moment. Now, I'm sure some people would say it's not worth it anyway. Like you shouldn't sell yourself out. You shouldn't sell your soul just so one day you get Lionel Messi to come to the league. Do you believe that?
It depends how you define your soul, because I don't think that happened, and I think they got Messi, and I think it is a banner mark. It's a watershed mark for MLS. Is this the start of MLS 4.0 at this point?
Oh.
At what point do we stop counting?
Interesting. What time? At what point do they just rebrand the product and it's a totally new thing?
It's interesting. I mean, this is going to fuel. We've been talking for a while right now. Where how does MLS Can it keep expanding? Can it keep putting franchises out there? What's the number that the league stops at? This is going to give a whole new life to anything that was out there about the next couple teams and what's going. This is upping the franchise fee to get in.
I'm not comfortable with going past 30. I imagine they probably will.
I'm not either, but I mean, are there a couple teams that don't perform, and maybe you?
There have been rumors about Vegas getting the Rapids and nonsense like that.
You know who's having an amazing time right now?
Yeah.
You know who's living a good life since 1996?
Who's that?
Robert Kraft. The dude got in at absolute zero. Has never invested in this team.
No, they built a training center. They built a training center.
My God, they're still on the same stadiums that's not theirs turf.
Didn't Kraft?
They're outside the main city.
No, I don't like Robert Kraft as a person. I think
my
he's a
man
joker.
is the dude just keeps grifting. He's the master grifter.
Yeah, he's the master grifter. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I do think that it's worth saying that some of those guys, and as much as I don't want to give them credit for other things that
got in early on the
to,
pyramid scheme.
I will say that you have to give Anschutz and Hunt, R.I.P. Lamar Hunt,
Yeah.
you have to give them credit for sticking it out, right?
And here's the thing. You're not going to hear me say the same thing about them because they got in early. They backed up their investment multiple times.
Yeah.
And they stuck it out. Robert Kraft just did the minimum and just skated, baby. Skated the profits.
I mean, they spent
The
a couple
dude has made
million
exponential
dollars.
money in the MLS.
They spent a couple million. They were losing millions of dollars. Just not. It's not the same. And by the way, I kind of wonder what would it be. I know Jonathan Kraft is very involved and wants to be part of the team and likes. He's a soccer guy where Robert isn't. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I mean, we're talking about the knock-on effect, right?
Yeah.
So speaking of knock-on effect, Jared, ticket prices, man. Ticket prices have gone crazy out
Listen,
here.
I was around. I got my season tickets right before Beckham signed in 2007. Trust me, I know about that. Like it was. I got
did
in
you
nice.
fund some stuff? Did you like get a new
seasons
pool?
for multiple seasons? Here's how I did. I got my season tickets. I
Okay.
sold the Barcelona game, the Real Madrid game, whatever it was at the Rose Bowl, and I paid for my entire season tickets for the season.
Wow. Yeah. What you sold a
Inter
couple
Miami
seats
could do the exact. But if you already had your season ticket package, let me just tell you right now, guys. Hold on to whatever the exhibition match is going to be. You will pay for your season tickets with that.
Can I just also say that we are just a couple weeks removed, and we should talk about the coaching situation. But we are just a couple weeks removed from the Miami supporters. I think La Familia, right? You guys, let me know. It's La Familia, I think, down there. They were chanting things like, Nebula Fuera, like all these people, like go, todos, like everybody out. Nobody stays. And yeah, Phil Neville got fired, and he probably deserved to be fired based on the results of the club, and they're pretty bad and all those things. But I don't think they're feeling that way today. I don't think they're feeling like everybody out. Like get away from our club. Like I think you got to give.
Nikki's got a question. I think you should ask on the air. Nikki, you
Okay.
available? Let's
Well,
play. Let's play him in.
Let's play him in with his.
I think I'm starting to like Cincinnati.
There he is, Nicholas
What's
Soup and
up, Nicky?
Sausage.
What's up?
Oh, top of the table and semifinalists in the Open Cup.
Ooh,
Oh,
you know what?
authority.
Inter Miami.
Inter Miami. Do you know when that game is, Jared? That semifinal of the Open Cup?
Have they set the date yet?
Third week
23rd
of
of
September. I thought it was September? August. Sorry, August. 23rd of August.
Well,
Sorry, I
he'll
was
be
a
here.
month late.
Do we know the date? What Messi's potential date is? Is it late August, late July, early August?
There's a lot of discussion
It
about
used to be around
this.
July 4th. That used to always be around July 4th. It was that European window. I don't know where it is.
The
now.
the window opens on July 5th, okay? But you have the All-Star game on, I think, the 17th. Then you go into the League's Cup for a month.
You think there's
a
any chance they won't have him at the All-Star game?
There's a chance. He'll be there. Whether he plays, I think, is a 50-50. Okay. Somebody said to me on the radio today, any chance that Don Garber makes Lionel Messi one of his commissioner's picks? And I was like, yeah, of course.
Not for
course.
sure.
Are you serious? Of course there is. Like
He'll make him the pick
world.
for the linesman, for God's sake. You just get him out there somehow.
I said you should just make it Messi's All-Stars. Let him pick the team to go play against
next year.
Arsenal. Yeah, so I mean, I think that there is a thought it could be against Cruz Azul in the League's Cup at Inter Miami Stadium, whatever it's
I have a
called,
thought
Drive
on this,
Pink.
but let's get to Nick's question, and I want to come back to this. Nick, what was your question?
All right. So I brought this up because you mentioned the New England Revolution.
Yes,
They play on a turf surface,
they
along
do.
with a number of other MLS teams in this
A
league.
couple of them do. Yes, that's a thing. Yeah.
Will Leo Messi play on artificial surfaces?
It's a good question.
I would.
It is
And
a
how would you feel
good
if you're
question.
a fan of a team that has turf right about now?
I would wait to buy tickets.
I would sell all my tickets for that game.
Yeah, if I have
Yeah.
tickets, I'm selling them. And it's trying to sell high. If I'm buying tickets, I'm waiting because I wouldn't take the chance. And this is the kind of thing that needs to happen to push the button in this country on this topic.
Did Zlatan play on turf?
He called off multiple times. He
Okay.
did, but not
We know-
often.
We know that Henri he always refused, right? I don't know if he ever showed up and played on turf.
Henri
Might have
always
happened. but-
refused.
Always
Zlatan
refused.
played a game at Nippert Stadium on turf, but outside of that, I don't really remember.
Okay.
He did call off multiple times for perf.
Okay, there's a couple of schools that, first of all, I've never heard Lionel Messi say anything about, again, blank canvas.
Doesn't have
Like,
to. He doesn't play
No,
on
no,
it.
no. Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, that's true, but I think there are, sometimes you will hear players kind of, talk. Maybe they come over on a tour or something. And Messi has been here before. Like, he's been here with Barcelona. He's been here with the Messi and Friends All-Stars, whatever that was. Remember the guy, the kid from Northwestern that had the bicycle kick in the Messi game in Chicago and became like a minor celebrity and restarted his soccer career and went to Iceland to play? That's an interesting story.
So,
but anyway.
MLS season, 33 games? Is that what it is now?
34 games.
I say in 2024, Messi plays in 24 games.
Okay, well, we can make that bet at some point. Now, I think it will be a case-by-case situation. And the reason that so again, I don't know what his stance is on turf. No player really likes it. I'm sure he probably doesn't like it. People say 100% doesn't play on turf. Maybe. But one other thing we know about Lionel Messi is that he's not a guy who likes to miss games at all. Like, he's never been like, well, I don't feel great. I'm not playing today. If he can play, he plays.
Yeah, but that cutting style and that's where, think about what injury happens. What position on the football field most often gets injuries on ACLs on turf? It's running backs, man. It's that cut. It's that making that cut on that surface and that foot digs. What does Messi do, man? He cuts.
Imagine. So our man JTT, and I'm going to play JTT in too, even though he's not on the air. But let me just go ahead and
JTT. That's the last place I'd want to play.
MFPG-13, it's JTT!
Now, the reason that JTT is saying that he suspects Messi will play in Atlanta is because it's a big stage and there's going to be 70,000 people in the building and all that stuff. But yeah, it's terrible. It's not a fun turf. Is there such a thing as fun turf? Should we invent that? Let's invent fun turf, Jared. Let's start a new company. We can sell people on artificial surfaces by calling it fun turf.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a selling point. I think people know. But yeah, Nick, to answer your question, man, I think he doesn't. I think he'll pick the rare game here and there. If playoffs were on the line, if U.S. Open Cup final was on the line, I think he gets out there and he plays on turf. But I think that if it's a regular season game, I think my dude gets a case of the coughs the night before.
Okay. All right.
Now, to go back to before you change topics, to go back to what you were talking about before.
Yeah.
You were talking about the All-Star game. Here, if I'm Dom Garber, here's what I'm doing next season.
Yeah.
I'm taking the MLS All-Stars, including Messi, who will play for the MLS All-Stars, but they play Barcelona all-time like legends.
Oh, you can't do that. That's not.
Why not?
It's not competitive. You can't do that.
It's All-Star game. It's not competitive. What are you talking about? Did you watch the defense played at the NBA All-Star game this year?
No, I understand that.
It's an exhibition game.
What I understand, it's an exhibition game, but they're not going to play anybody who's not an active player. They're just not going to do that. Okay?
Why not?
Now, if
it's
Sergio
not fun,
Busquets,
dude.
hold on. If Sergio Busquets and Jordi Alba and Luis Suarez are playing in Major League Soccer, they're just all-stars with Messi. It's almost the same thing. Like it's
still got Xavi and Iniesta.
I don't think you're getting Thierry Henry. You're not getting Thierry Henry off a bench somewhere, off a.
You don't think Thierry were playing that?
No, not in a 11v11 out. Not in a game that's not Soccer Aid.
Do you watch the Legends matches overseas? They're fantastic. I watch them all the time.
I know they happen. MLS is not. What I'm telling you is MLS does not want to market their All-Star game in that manner. That they don't want to.
They don't want eyeballs then.
Okay, but they're not going to. They're not going to. Diminish their product by having their All-Stars.
What do you think more people would watch? That game or versus America?
I think either way, if Lionel Messi's on the field, a lot of people are watching the game.
I don't, man.
Come on. But this is the culture. It's an event culture. It's a big celebrity culture. It's the best player in the world. It's the GOAT. It's following
around. Then you bring over Barcelona
it.
Next summer for their preseason. You play them as All-Star game.
Okay. You want to market for MLS? You give Dan Quartermanch and Don Garber and
Suns out, Bala Guns out could have been theirs.
You. Well, that's technically
U.S. Soccer. Suns out, guns out.
Yeah, that's more of a U.S. Soccer kind of situation. We
Give me a
spent
call,
40 minutes
cameraman.
on Lionel Messi. Do we have more on Messi, or do we want to talk other topics?
We can always do more on Messi, but I'm okay with moving on to some other topics here.
Okay. All right. Actually, one more thing, because I saw Mike Thomas, again, our man Mike Thomas, over under the amount of games that Miami plays at Hard Rock Stadium this year and next year instead of at Drive Pink in Fort Lauderdale.
I think all of them.
If they
can get it.
If you can swing the bigger venue, then you play the bigger venue, right?
Yeah.
Can I bring something up?
Is that your signal for coming on the air? Is that what you're saying?
I think I'm starting to like Cincinnati.
What was he doing with his fingers like this? All right, go ahead.
Wasn't there some sort of litigation happening with the owners of Hard Rock and all those years
Oh, yeah. Stephen Ross was behind the company that wanted to bring La Liga games and stuff to the United States. Yeah.
So do you think that Major League Soccer is going to be willing to move that to?
I think when there's money involved, those things can be worked out. Yeah, I think so. If you can sell 80,000 seats to watch Lionel Messi play an MLS game, then yeah, everybody will be like, yeah, we're best friends. What are you talking about? I mean, I think there's probably logistical stuff. I think MLS actually might, in some cases, even if they might leave money on the table, I think in some cases they might say, you know what, let's not do the NFL venue thing. Let's showcase our beautiful little soccer stadiums that we have spent the last 25 years working on, right? I mean, if you've just built a 30,000 seat stadium in Nashville and Messi comes to town, do you then go, well, actually, let's go down the road and play at the NFL venue instead of our brand new soccer stadium, right?
At that point, I think it changes and you do like the special games. Like that's the way it happened as well, like in the Beckham years and stuff like that. And even when the Galaxy go up to the Quakes still, like to this day, even though
the Quakes are a different story because they only got 18,000 or whatever it is in that little tiny thing in
What's Miami's one going to be?
Well, I'm drawing to think is small. But they're I don't know if that's going to be online by the time Messi retires. There's a very good chance that won't
Which is a problem in itself. But I want to repackage this real quick. Jackie put when does MLS All-Stars versus Wrexham happen? But I want to pivot this question slightly different. Okay. Which is the better marketing ploy?
Yeah.
All-Stars versus Wrexham or All-Stars versus Barcelona next summer?
All-Stars versus Barcelona next summer is much bigger.
So you're gonna shy away from the Ryan Reynolds crossover promotions and stuff like that.
I'm not saying that it wouldn't be a big deal. First of all, it's a joke, but I don't think it would. I'm not saying it wouldn't be a big deal or it wouldn't get attention, but it would get more attention from looky-loos here than an MLS versus Barcelona game.
You get more soccer fans for the Barca one. You get more just American casual fans.
The reach around the world is a bigger deal.
I thought of it and you shunned it. And now you're using it an awful lot. I think you kind of like it.
No. You should know that I'm giving you the stamp of approval when I'm like,
wait until you come out. We come out with our charity album, Reach Around the World. Like Reach Around the World.
Oh, no. See, you're gonna get
finish them off nicely.
No. See, now you cross the line.
Why do you
do that? You're so close. You're just in that sweet spot of like a little bit of raunchy humor, but without going too far, and then you ruin it. You ruin it every time. It's what you do.
Okay. I'll talk to Sarah tonight about the T-shirt design.
Although there is something there with finishing in soccer.
We should totally do it as a fake charity, like the Big Lebowski's, like the Lebowski's kids or whatever. Like,
oh man. Okay.
And then it's like it all goes to us.
Jared has let being independent go straight to his head on this show. It's 100% leaning in to being it.
Reach around the world.
There's no guidelines. There's no boundaries anymore. Okay,
Get
one more
penetration.
question. One more question.
Huh?
You mentioned this? Is this MLS 4.0? Do you think that there will be rule changes or anything significant, the way that it happened with Beckham, that changes the complexion of Major League Soccer based on Lionel Messi? And maybe not now, but sort of next year.
I think so, and I think it's a dual thing, not just because Messi's coming around, but I think it's going to accelerate it. I think MLS has been ready for a while to move a bit away from the DP kind of thing and just give more freedom and a larger salary cap purse. I think there's a different way other than making it tied to individual players and let teams have the freedom to spend more money. I think it's getting to that point. And if you're going to allow, and this is coming from a Galaxy fan, if you're going to allow a team to bend heaven and earth, and the league and its broadcasting partner is going to reach around the world and make these moves to get this guy here, how are you going to express the same gratitude or fairness to other teams? Because there's only one Messi.
Right. Well, so they're okay. Just
and not to say they're not going to they're going to have to reap rewards. They will reap rewards from this financially for sure.
Look, on that point, there are people who are saying, "Hey, this smacks of subsidizing the move that other MLS teams or other MLS owners or the league as a whole." And again, single entity hasn't gone away. I know the leagues the teams act much more independently than they used to, but it's still a single business for that purpose, right? What's good for one is good for all is the attitude. They don't always agree, but that's kind of the motivating mentality. But I will say that Inter Miami under the rules can pay Lionel Messi whatever they want, right? As long as they have a DP slot open, there's no ceiling on what you can pay a single DP, right? It's just we did kind of all. Well, that's right. We all kind of went, oh my God, when Insigne was reportedly getting 15 mil, but that's only because it was so out of whack with the history, not necessarily because that was against the
Working
rules.
out great, by the way.
Yes, it's working great. They can pay him in terms of his playing salary, whatever they want. And then you consider, okay, look, only one player in the world is probably going to get Apple to say, yes, take some of our money, please. Like, take some of our season pass money, please, because we know that we'll benefit from your presence in that way. And only one player in the world is going to get, or two maybe, is going to get Adidas to say, yeah, profit sharing. Let's go, guy. You can have some, you can share some of this, right? Because we're going to sell jerseys off of you and all this stuff. And those two things, Apple and Adidas, are not MLS. That's not MLS massaging the rules, with the reach around the world for Lionel Messi.
Reach around the world, give it a whack, see what happens.
Other businesses in America saying, just like remember we talked about David Beckham's contract was, how much did they say it was?
$250 million back in the day.
Yeah, that was $250 million. So much of that was Adidas.
50 was what was guaranteed.
So much of that was ancillary stuff on the side, which again,
and we haven't talked about that yet. Like, I mean, Messi's got Pepsi. He's got other stuff as well. Like, he can market the crap out of this. Like, he's going to have so many doors open to him for other endorsements while he's here.
And I'll point out that Lionel Messi being in this country, being in Miami, which is the home of so much Spanish language television, like where they make it. This is massive in that area too, right? The Spanish language audience. There's 50 million Spanish speakers in America. There are 450 million Spanish speakers around the world, or whatever that number is. Again, Lionel Messi, 450 million Instagram followers. That number is mine. I can't put my head around. Even if some of those are bots, I can't. My brain fails to comprehend that. So that I would say that on the sort of like subsidizing Messi and all that stuff. In terms of that,
where do you think the league goes though? Where do you see them loosening the restrictions, if at all?
What I was going to say is
it as simple as a fourth DP?
Not to reference it one more time. Yeah.
WNBC.
Please sign up for the Patreon and SiriusXM. That'd be great.
Hey, we don't get a cut of that. I don't.
Well, I'd like to have a job so I can keep doing this on the side. Okay. I had Stephen Fry on my show right after this news broke. Like, it was an hour after Guillaume Balaguer had tweeted that Messi was going into Miami. And I asked Stephen Fry, what do you think this means? Will you give me a response? And, I think Stephen, I don't know if I can't remember if he's been a union rep, but I feel like he's been involved in some stuff in the past, CBAs and the like. And he pretty quickly went to, I'm interested to see what this means for the money for the league. And he doesn't care what the owners get. He cares about the players, right? He cares about everybody else. And I think his thought
of which
was
Messi
immediate.
is one, though. Let's not forget he represents him as well.
Sure, absolutely. But I think his idea was this could mean money that everybody else gets to share. Maybe they finally get the league to crack on roster designations because the union does not like roster designations at all.
I'll tell you right now, if from a player's standpoint, if I'm David Beckham, I'm going out. I'm flying the week before Messi shows up, or maybe even start now. I fly Alan Gordon out to be a guy, just a consigliere, to just talk to all the other players about what it's like culturally.
Oh yeah,
to play on a team with someone like David Beckham.
I'm so desperate to talk to Alan Gordon right now. I want him for the radio show. I want him for this show. I'm so desperate.
Seriously, but I'm only half kidding about this. Like, these players are not ready for what they're about to go through.
Oh, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think.
It's different.
Yeah, Quarantine Jean has no idea what's coming at him, right? I mean,
you need to start preparing these guys now. I mean, LA got hit like a freight train. All those guys clean pools on the side.
MLS is much more prepared for this than they were back in 2007. I think it's fair to say that. Anyway, okay. Yeah. So what do I think is going to happen? I don't know. I think that if MLS does gangbusters in terms of the MLS season pass subscriptions, and there's again, our boy JTT can remind me of this, but there is a part in that deal that says once they hit a certain threshold, MLS gets their own profit sharing on the season pass subscriptions, right? And I don't know what that is. Nobody knows, and everybody thinks that they're doing terrible right now. This is why Apple was never going to back out of this deal. They were never going to do that for lots of reasons, but this is one. If MLS does that, if MLS, if they're selling Messi jerseys like, just hand over fist with that color with his name on the back and a number 10, are you freaking kidding me?
It's a nice jersey.
It's gonna be amazing. I think the union is going to have so much leverage to go and say, hey, look, you can't just say, oh, this is Messi money, nobody gets to touch it. This is us too. We're part of this. You don't have a league for him to play in without us. I think we could. I mean, a fourth DP is the easy answer, but I feel like that doesn't have enough creativity around it. I feel like there's going to be something else.
Listen, I know there's a lot of haters out there, and we're going to be called, or I'm going to call the fanboy for this, but Don Garber's good at his job, man. Don Garber's good at his job. I was around when he wasn't here. I remember the years before he got here. This is a dude that brought NFL level ideals, and not always for their right, but in terms of marketing and making money and knowing how to seize opportunities and seeing 1-2 moves ahead of other other leagues. NHL's on life support right now with this coming in.
Yeah, by the way, the NHL fans are in their feelings on social media because people are making the Messi move about how MLS is passing NHL. I don't care. I'm not getting into that.
I got plenty of issues with Dom Garber in other ways, but not in terms of putting the league first and making it successful.
Any measuring contest with the NHL and MLS, it's dumb. Don't engage, okay? Who cares? Hockey is still fine. The Las Vegas Golden Knights are a brand new hit in America or whatever. I don't know. Just chill on that. All right, that's 50 minutes of Lionel Messi. We should probably get off of Messi, right? We should probably
reach around instead.
Something else. There are a couple of things out. You mentioned the Open Cup. We certainly could talk that. There's a Nations League game. There's two of them, actually. One of them involves the United States of America next week, Jerry. Players have arrived. Players are there. They're starting to get their legs underneath them. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, we've already discussed
reports from McKinney's boy 29 saying that Christian Pulisic picked up a knock in training today.
I'll have Pam send out a memo.
No. 3-month probationary period. Let's just not tell anybody about this right now.
BJ Callahan.
Oh, you're talking BJ? Okay.
Do you? I mean, first of all, 29 is a joker. Okay. I mean, maybe he knows some stuff, but he's a joker. Maybe that's true. That's look, it's bad. Considering the situation, it would kind of open up a possibility of Weah and Reyna being on the field at the same time.
Yeah,
around Balogun, which I think would be
it's a weak wait. He just said it was a small knock, but we'll see what's going on with it. But I'm excited, man. Like it takes something like Messi to really get this out of my brain for a couple of days. I'm not thinking about.
I was not looking at any training camp updates or any training updates. I wasn't following. I mean, I caught maybe another U.S. soccer tweet about Balogun, and obviously you and I and Nikki Soup and Sausage and his beautiful wife were.
Okay, assholes. Sun's out, guns out.
Should we cut off the first part? Should we get rid of that first part? Okay.
Never.
We were working on that, so of course I had a little bit of thinking a little bit about it. I was saying today, Canada's roster came out, and I don't know about their midfield outside of Eustachio. I know Kone's good, but he's still a little raw. I don't know their midfield is great. Their attack is legit. And I think they're going to beat Panama. And I would be worried if I was Mexico or the United States about Canada in that final. I mean, if it's Mexico, they'll have home field advantage.
Yeah, I'm not looking past it right now. I'll be honest with you. I'm not looking past it. I think the Mexico team presents enough of a challenge. And I think the Mexico team, I'm kind of excited for this matchup because I have a chance to see a different Mexico than I think we've seen over the last few years. Like I said, we talked about it before. It's a bit of a changing of a guard. It's a bit going what the U.S. has been doing for the last 3 years already. Yeah. Going younger, going a little bit in a different direction. So I don't necessarily know what to think about it. Is this going to be like these guys aren't experienced, so it's going to be a bit easier to kind of walk over them? Or is it going to be, hey, these are guys that are going to get a shot. They're younger dudes. It's our turn. That's how our guys took it. They said it's our turn.
We'll see. I think it could be kind of messy. I mean, not that kind of messy. The other kind of messy. I think it'd just be kind of. We'll talk about it next week. Although we should take the opportunity before I forget to let everybody know that scheduling wise, CONCACAF has done us dirty, and we're probably not doing anything for the game on Thursday. Jared's got other things he's got to do. And
my kid had a birthday or having a birthday.
Well, there's stuff going on.
I'm not even going to watch the game. I'm going to be at a birthday party someplace.
It is. God dang it. And it's 10 o'clock kickoff on the East Coast, so it makes a post-game show extremely hard. So anyway, we will be back as soon as we can to recap the game. But we'll talk about it. We should. Well, I guess we won't talk about it before then. This is kind of our preview. I guess we have
just so you know, Jason, if we want, before we get out of here, we do have 2 callers on the line. If we want to get
I know. Right there. I was going to ask you if you want to let JTT talk about Apple stuff. He wants to talk about Apple.
Talking about Apple. Plus, I love bringing JTT on and then making him awkward with my sexual innuendos.
Okay, but okay. I don't know why you would want to make
reach around innuendo.
OMFPG-13, it's JTT!
We might get some more.
He's just so professional, and I'm not.
We might get some more TMC soccer mentions, by the way.
You're so professional, John. Come on.
You are professional, John. I will say that.
Slander your time zone.
He's the West Coast.
What's up, JTT? Right. What you got, baby?
I was calling to slander your time zone because Jason is correct. Maybe somebody's going to learn now that a U.S.-Mexico game shouldn't be at 10 o'clock Eastern.
It works out great. Come on, it's Vegas, JTT. It's Vegas.
There's a 7 o'clock kickoff between Canada and Panama. I know that's 4 o'clock for you people, but why are we doing that?
And that's the only one of the four. That's the only one of the 4 games that's on television in English.
Yeah, fun
JTT,
times.
I don't know why you're. JTT, are you going out for that game, or are you gonna stay in Philly?
No, I'm not.
God dang, JTT is your chance to go to Vegas and go crazy.
Other ways of spending the limited budget.
If he wants to breathe terrible air, he can do that in Philadelphia. He doesn't have to go out to the West Coast anymore.
Oh yeah,
that is correct.
JTT, let me give you some advice for walking the strip in Vegas. Don't do it in sandals. Don't do it in sandals. Vegas is not a sandals city.
No. Neither is Philadelphia.
I'm actually not really a Vegas person. But
I love Philadelphia.
What you got about Apple, John?
John, Apple stuff. Give us some Apple stuff.
Yes. So there is, to my knowledge, a clause in all of this that says that if the amount of revenue booked in a year, I think it's if the amount of revenue is in a year booked is greater than $250 million, then there is profit sharing. There's profit sharing with Apple and MLS. They sort of divide up the rest of it. What I don't remember, and I'm going to have to look up on the fly here, although, Jason, you might remember this off the top of your head. Wasn't there profit sharing in the CBA if the rights deal got above a certain number?
There is, but here's the problem, JTT. They've never published, they've never given us the new CBA for the details. We just heard about that in the reporting during negotiations, right?
I thought it got, now I'm on the fly looking it up. I thought it got announced that there was profit sharing.
It may have gotten announced. What I'm saying is that we don't have a specific reading of the text of the CBA where that is indicated. We just have heard that via the reporting on the deal. That's what I'm suggesting.
So I'm back to the napkin math here at $250 million. Okay.
Yep.
I found it.
Share it.
Players, as they announced the CBA and then they redid the CBA after the pandemic.
Right.
As was the case in the CBA agreed to in June, players will share in the increased revenue generated by MLS's new media agreements beginning in 2023. MLS will increase player spending by an amount equal to 12.5% of the incremental media revenue as defined in the CBA in 2023 and 2024, increasing to 25% for the 2025 2026 and 2027 seasons.
Wow. But what we don't know is what is in the CBA, what the threshold is.
The threshold, that's the key, right? And Jonathan, if I remember correctly, the threshold is pretty high, right?
That I don't remember.
Well, that's the key, though.
Let me talk about the back of napkin math I just did.
That's the thing that decides whether this is a substantial increase to the salary budget or if it's just they don't get anything because they don't reach the threshold because the threshold's too high. And again, it's possible that Messi pushes them above the threshold. That's maybe the only thing that could push MLS above the threshold that would get the players.
So we said $250 million potentially unlocks some of this stuff from what we just said. At $50 a season, is it $50 at this point for season pass? I think
something. I think it wasn't it 90 and now it's 45.
90.
Let's say assuming it's 50 right now. I think that's
the threshold. By the way, the threshold is I think $165 million.
Okay, so let me redo this math then. So $165 million.
$165 million per season. Yes.
Yes.
So that for this season,
I think they might already be getting something. but they're going to get more.
For this season, that's 3.3 million subscriptions. They need 3.3 million subscriptions to unlock that achievement. I think there's no problem in getting that once Messi comes into here.
Right.
And this is the thing that fascinates me about it. And obviously, I've been leaning on Apple for months to produce numbers. I've been leaning on, everybody, lots of reporters have been leaning on Apple to give numbers, and they won't do it because they never do.
Don't have to.
Right.
Because that's Apple. They don't give numbers on anything.
Yeah.
Can't let Netflix get that kind of info.
What I don't know, because I mean, all the season ticket holders got season pass for free. I understand that.
Yeah. Does that count?
We'll never know how many people actually bought the thing at the start.
I didn't. I got a freebie.
How many people? I know you did, but how many? Because you're famous. How many?
No. That's not what happened at all. That's not what happened.
They give a peeky out when you talk it out.
I may have gotten one because I cover the league. I don't think that was Jared Soko. He should. He deserves it. You deserve it. But that's not how it happened. T-Mobile.
I can't give one of my own shirts for free.
We have no idea how many people in the country actually follow MLS.
We don't. You're right. We do not know.
On a regular
We don't. If you go by actual old school television ratings, it doesn't seem like a lot.
Well, I think in New England you can count them.
Watch games outside their market.
You can look up in the stands. One, two, three.
JTT. Go ahead.
By and large, the fans in this league historically have not watched games outside their market.
Correct. Correct.
I have not watched an MLS game
By the
this
way,
season that has not been Galaxy invaded.
How fast does MLS flex Inter Miami games out of the 7:30 Eastern window when he's the 7:30 local time window when Lionel Messi is in the game, potentially playing in the game, so they can get all the eyeballs possible?
I think I asked Mother Nature that question because I also have it, but it's tough.
Yeah, I guess there are other considerations. You can't play in the daytime in Miami in the summer, can you?
Not easy. There's no roof there, But the thing that I'm more interested in is not so much what is MLS going to do as what is Fox going to do. Is Fox going to pick up more games here?
Okay, you know what? That's for sure.
Does Apple have to allow that, or like Fox can pick up anything they want? Because if I'm Apple right now, I don't want to let anyone else in this game. Like, does Apple have to okay that?
Probably, and Fox will probably have to put some more money on the table.
Yeah, they'll have to get a set that isn't a sheet hung up behind John Strong and Stuart Holden.
Well, and here's the game that I'm looking at, and then a lot of people are looking at, is August 26th, Miami at the New York Red Bulls.
Okay.
That game, I mean, I don't know when Messi's debut is actually going to be. Obviously, I know a lot of people who'd like it for commercial reasons to be during the League's Cup. I had heard he was going to debut in August, but I didn't know when in August. So what's the difference between late July and the first week of August? Because it's not just the transfer window. The transfer window, his contract with PSG expires on June 30th. He's technically a free agent on July 1st.
He's on a free. Yeah. Well, he's on a free, but okay. Well, I don't know. You would probably know the ins and outs of that a little bit better than me, John. But go ahead.
My point to people has been the transfer window, I don't think is going to matter in this case. Because he's going to go on vacation for a month and a half or something.
Yeah, right. It's well, this is all on Lionel Messi's timeline. John, we could pick out the finer details of Messi's move and all that stuff. We're going to learn more. I do have another caller, so I want to get to him.
JTT, get that tank top, baby. I want to see those guns out this summer.
Yeah, sun's out, guns out, Philadelphia style. Do it Philly style with sandals. Do that. Let's go to T from Jersey, who wants to talk about the national team. Let's change topics. What's up, T?
Hey, Jack, you just call me Tyler. It's my nickname. But I was wondering, just one question. Against Mexico, without Adams, are you starting Rain at the 10, yes or no?
No. I'm not. No.
Probably wouldn't. It probably wouldn't be my choice. I'd be okay with it if they did it, but I just feel like there's too much work to be done in that midfield, and I would prefer Luca De La Torre in that midfield.
The question isn't you start. Well, the question is,
I don't think you play
start Reyna, but it really what's key here is what you play in the midfield other than Reyna. So if you want Musa and McKennie on the field together, I don't know that either one of those guys has the proper instincts or the defensive ability to even work as a double pivot. Just because you have two players there doesn't mean it works. I'm not comfortable with that. I saw an opinion today that said you almost have to play Johnny Cardoso because he's the only actual number 6 on the team. Now, you could play... what?
Nah, I don't think so. I think you
could play Senora there too, but
no, I think there's nothing wrong with playing the Luca Del Toro, Yunus Musa, and McKennie, and it's a midfield by committee. I think that they're smart enough to figure out what their positioning is. I don't think you have to sit a rock in front of the back line. I
just don't know. Okay, but you're asking this team to play in a way it hasn't played before because Tyler's there. Tyler's the security blanket.
I don't think you can play Tyler. The drop from Tyler Adams to Johnny Cardoso is steep enough that I think that it's better to change. It's better to change because and here's the thing: we should be changing anyway, right? We got 4 years to be a different team. This isn't Greg Berhalter's team anymore.
No, but okay, I would be much more comfortable with that idea of changing in this moment. And again, I know Nations League's not the World Cup, it's not a Copa America, but I'd be much more comfortable if we didn't have the interim manager in charge, the guy who, while everybody likes BJ Callahan that says he's a good tactician, and Jim Curtin says I learned so much from BJ Callahan, is he really going to be the guy to come in and in 1 week get them to play in a different way than what they've always played with Tyler Adams back there? I know he's also been hurt a couple times.
There's been a lot of costly BJs in Vegas, and we don't know if this is going to be one of them or not. But I say you're at home. You've got this young team out there for the guys that want to play. Let them play. I don't think Reyna's to play though. I don't think Reyna's to play.
Well, this is why I think it could get messy. This is why I think it could get. I said it last week. I said sloppy. I think it could get sloppy out there under BJ. Go ahead, Tyler.
What do you? This is a curious question. Because I look at the roster, right, and I look from last cycle, and I see that the biggest problem was goals. Quite frankly, it was goals.
Yeah.
And if you look in the pool, besides Balogun, what player in our pool has consistently produced goals in a top flight league at the highest level? And there's really only one. And
it's Gio.
That's Reyna, and I don't see how you can, whether it be Pepi, also, by the way, I don't know if you guys heard, but he's going to PSV, it looks like. And I don't know how you can leave him out of the roster. I don't, or not the roster.
What do you make that they gave him the number 9 over Balogun?
Pepi? It's just because he's more senior. It has nothing to do with like who's going to start. I think it's I think Balogun's going to start.
No,
Pepi's going to be in reserve.
How do you leave Reyna out of the starting 11?
No, I know. Tyler wants to keep us on topic here.
I'll answer that question. Tyler. I think Reyna would be in the lineup if Tyler Adams was available. I think Tyler Adams affords you the ability to take more risks in midfield because you have his cover. Yeah, with Tyler Adams not available, I don't think Gio's industry and getting back and tracking back is going to be something you want to take a chance on. I think instead you use him just like he's been getting used in the Bundesliga as a sub that produces for you late in game as a game changer.
I would argue then that we are in Dortmund, Unfortunately, we are not the quality of Dortmund. We don't have a starting 11 of that quality.
Look. This comes. I understand what you're saying, Tyler. I really do, and I think all of us want to be aggressive, and we imagine getting the goal first that sets up the game for us. But I think every coach, most coaches, unless maybe you're Pep Guardiola and you can just whatever because you have so much talent, and I don't know where BJ Callahan falls on this scale, right? We don't know. But I think most coaches are going to want to keep their team in the game for as long as possible, and you sort of trust that my game changers, Balogun, Pulisic, Weah, maybe Reyna off the bench, are going to find the goal. You don't, or we get a set piece, right? I don't think he's going to set the team up to go for goals, put as many goals in the team as possible in a Nations League semifinal against Mexico in what will probably be a hostile environment in his very first game in charge. I just don't think that's
Tyler,
possible.
I think we're talking about the same thing, but differently, okay? Gio Reyna is the constant. U.S. national team and Bayern Borussia Dortmund are the variables, okay? But Gio's the same, Okay, the U.S. national team, he's not getting games at Dortmund because there's 11 other players that are better, fit the system better, work harder. I don't know. Whatever it is, there's 11 players that are better than him. At the U.S. national team, I don't know that there's 11 players better than him, but there's a scenario in play where the guy that's the most essential is not there, and that affects whether or not Gio Reyna can get on the field. It's not the fact that we're not Dortmund, but there's a problem in U.S. national team that exposes something that's also being exposed at Dortmund. Well, Gio is not a guy that either coach think they can trust.
There's a couple things. There's a system that doesn't have a natural place for Giovanni Reyna in it. Part of that is quality throughout the rest of the squad, right? That's part of it. It's also the profile of the players you do have. You have a very good two-way midfielder in Yunus Musa, but who's not necessarily the guy to score the goals or pop up in the box. He's going to be back and forth between boxes, moving the ball, hopefully doing some defensive work. You have Weston McKennie, who's great in the air, who can occasionally play a flick on, who's good as a target player, who can get in the box, arrive late, maybe be a threat to goal, is okay defensively, puts in some effort, but isn't, is certainly not. So what I'm saying is the profile of the players on some level, and we can pick at Berhalter for his choices, dictate the way that you play, right? You're supposed to maximize your talent. Now, I know lots of people don't think the Berhalter did that, but in the way that he set the team up, which BJ Callahan inherits and could do nothing about. He's not changing us to a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-3-1, or he's not changing our system. That's not even system, but he's not changing the way we play. He's going to lean on what Berhalter already has in place. You can plug in Balogun because that's a center forward, and you didn't have one at a better level than Balogun. You can't really mess with the chemistry and the way the system works otherwise.
I think if Gio Reyna sees the field in a starting capacity, Tyler, in Vegas, it's at the right forward position, not at the 10.
It would be
one last question.
Go ahead.
One last question. We keep saying about the system that Berhalter had, and the system how it can't be changed and stuff. When I look at maybe it's not time to move it just yet with, that could be disastrous of an interim head coach. But when you look ahead to 2026 and the 2024 Copa America, if I look who has the highest potential right now of a U.S. player, Gio might be it. And I have to say, kind of how the 2022 team was kind of built around Christian a little bit, I would like to see the next team kind of start to be built about Reyna a little bit, because I feel like he can
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you, Tyler, but we're not talking about 3 years. You asked us about one game.
I'm gonna let Tyler go. Yeah, look, again, I agree with Tyler on that part, and I want to give the next head coach the opportunity to mold this team to their liking. And we don't think we have to stick with a 4-3-3 or the Berhalter pattern of play or anything like that. We don't have to do any of that.
Unfortunately, we're in a win or go home scenario in our region's tournament, and for that reason, that's why I'm hesitating.
When elimination is on the line, like in a league game, it can be different, right? We got 34 league games. We got 38 league games. We can, this week against this team, we can go crazy. We can throw out an attacking lineup. We can tinker. We can throw this player into that spot and try stuff. In a win or go home situation, you're minimizing risk. You're not
somewhat pragmatist.
You're thinking pragmatically. You're not thinking necessarily about how do I get more goal scorers on the field. Right? You're trying to, it's structures and it's, the platforms and it's all of those things that BJ Callahan's going to worry about. So, I hope Gio has an opportunity to impact the game. He scored against Mexico in the Nations League.
Sure.
In Denver 2 years ago, right? If not for that goal.
One of the most amazing run ever against Mexico. He has the ability. He has the ceiling. Yeah. But is now the time? I don't know.
This is an interesting point. The team is going to be built around Balogun now, not Reyna. Look,
but the best way to build on Balogun might be to put Reyna on the field.
But the best case scenario is that Balogun moves somewhere this summer and scores another 20 goals in a top league. That Christian Pulisic finds a soft landing place, maybe even playing Champions League football, although I think that might be a little greedy. That Giovanni Reyna, triples his minutes, doubles his minutes.
I hope he moves.
I still don't think that's a good idea, but Giovanni Reyna doubles his minutes next year.
That Pepi puts up another 20 goals at PSV at a higher level team.
Okay, let's finish that with that. Let's go in terms of, we haven't heard a lot of legitimate transfer talk where you can imagine a player's definitely going somewhere, except for the Pepi news today, which says that Eindhoven wants to buy him from Augsburg and bring him in. Now, I'm going to point out again that Eindhoven's record, Feyenoord's different bidder perhaps, but Eindhoven's record signing is 14 million euros. Okay, and Ricardo Pepi went to Augsburg for 20 million bucks, which is give or take 18 to 20 million euros.
Yeah,
what's the number?
I think potentially somewhere around 10 to 12. I think Augsburg takes a bit of a hit, but here's the way they can make it back.
They take a sell-on clause.
They take a sell-on clause. I think that's the way that this gets worked out. It comes out around $10 million with a percentage of sell-on.
I think you're probably right.
And I think that's the way this gets done. Now, I always forget, Ernie Stewart's at PSV or at Feyenoord?
He's at PSV. It's the Ernie Stewart club that might be pulling this.
And no coach right now, correct?
No, they had who walked out of that club?
Van Nistelrooy.
Van Nistelrooy. Was it him? Okay, so he
walked
out.
Yeah, so that's troublesome to me to see. That's one thing, red flag with Pepi going there. Obviously, they have a track record of being one of the best teams in the Netherlands. No problem there. But Ernie Stewart arrives. Van Nistelrooy walks out on a Tuesday randomly. Like, I'm out. Season's not even over yet. Still had a game left. What is that about? And why is it with Pepi going there, not knowing who the coach is? This isn't the coach's pick.
Yeah.
There's a couple things there that concern me with this move. This is where he ends up going.
I will say, and look, I'm not an expert on Eindhoven. If people have a better handle on this, it looks like Luc de Jong is the guy that usually starts in the position that Pepi would play. He's 32. He had how many goals he have last year? I don't have the number in front of me, but
I don't know.
You know. What I'm saying is a chance that there's some space here, and kind of regardless, it being Eindhoven, I'm not saying it's a great situation, but it being Eindhoven, you have to imagine they're going to be competitive in the league next year, right? It's Ajax, Feyenoord, and Eindhoven, and that's pretty much the list. So he's going up a level in that regard. Did they get, I don't know if, I didn't check, did they get European football? Probably did, right? They're probably going to be in some European competition.
It's the top two out of Netherlands.
Yeah, I'm okay with this. This is like, this is a half step, right? They finished second to Feyenoord by 7
The
points.
bigger move would have been getting out of the Netherlands, but at least you're moving up a class within the region you were already having success in. He's going to have to battle more for time than he had to, and show that he can do it on a slightly bigger stage.
I never know what to make of a player who scores a bunch of goals at a bad team on a bad club, right? So obviously Groningen got relegated. So Pepi was by far the brightest thing about that team.
Yeah,
he's doing it on a bad team. Is he scoring garbage time goals that don't really matter? I didn't go back.
Here's the thing. I'm going to give you some context for this. He's had it both ways now. At Augsburg, terrible team, couldn't score a goal.
Yeah.
At Groningen, terrible team, scoring 20 goals. What do you make of that? I don't know. It's weird. Well, I don't understand the chemistry there.
Maybe I'm being a little unfair, but there's also that, that pretty solid perception that defending in the Eredivisie is not necessarily of the highest level. And
20 goals, though? Was he? I'm sorry. He was actually on 18 or 19. I'm not sure what he was
whatever. It's a good number, but not a great. It's not like a world breaking.
What did Josie get? Do you remember what Josie got for his year? Was it
Josie
14?
got a bunch of goals.
Was it more than 20?
A bunch of goals at AZ. Michael Bradley scored a bunch of goals at Heerenveen. Yeah, and look again, but there have been guys like Luis Suarez who scored a ton of goals in that league. We're obviously good enough to go and score goals at top levels in other places. I'm okay with it, right? And he's young, and he's still in a position where he can build on this. And who knows? Maybe it means bigger things for Ricardo Pepi.
Okay, and I know we're going to go and get out of here right now, but I wanted to leave with this. So Robert Jordan says Apple TV is becoming what NBC was in the 90s, and the only reason I'm putting this up, what are the odds we can get a John Tesh MLS theme song for Apple TV?
Round Ball Rock or whatever.
Do you think we can even get one for the best soccer show? Like for reach around the world?
No, I don't think. Do you think that John Tesh would sing those lyrics? Do you think we'd know what they mean?
John Tesh is a player, dude. Don't even think for a second he isn't a player.
I mean,
you saw how feathered his hair was. That ain't on accident.
What is that?
He didn't wake up that way.
What is? I know he's putting in work on his hair.
You think that's just for him in the mirror?
I don't know.
He was married to someone famous too, and I can't remember who it was.
He was. I don't remember.
Margie Harmon or something. I don't know what it was, but
yeah, I don't. Mary Hart. What?
Mary? Oh, it might be Mary Hart. I think you're right. She was on ET, or no? He was on ET.
He was on ET. He was on. Okay, now I got to look this up.
Man, still the best theme song.
He's not rocking exactly the same hair these days.
Oh, did my man lose it? Did he lose it?
No. It looks like he's got it, but it's just kind of this gray.
I mean, who
mop
is
top.
rocking what they were rocking in '92?
You got a good point. You're absolutely
Richard Marx. Is he still rocking what he had? I don't know.
No,
Bolton?
it wasn't Mary Hart. Mary Hart was on one of those shows, so that's why
Oh yeah,
my
she
brain
was his
went there.
co-host, I think.
He was married to Connie Selica. He is
Connie
married
Selica.
to Connie
Still,
Selica.
good for him, dude.
Still married.
By the
to
way, I
Connie
just said
Selica.
Richard Marx. You know who Richard Marx is married to?
No.
Oh, Nick knows. Nick knows. Nick, get him in. Get him in. Get him in.
Okay, hold on. Are we just gonna go with? Is this?
I think I'm starting to like Cincinnati.
Is that just the move now? We're gonna get rid of the Sausage King. Okay, I still love my Sausage King. Let's go.
Oh wow,
That's a drop.
love the sausage.
Yeah, I like sausage. What can I say? Go ahead.
Ready for this? 90s
Oh, please
nostalgia?
put that.
Right. Daisy Fuentes.
Yeah, baby. That's who Richard
What?
Marx is married
Yes.
to. That's what he's
What?
been married to. That's what those love
What?
songs. That's what the easy listening demographic gets.
Daisy Fuentes. He was not easy.
Fuentes.
He was adult contemporary. He wasn't easy.
Richard
listening.
Marx, come on.
He was adult contemporary, like with the Robin Hood. Wasn't he the Robin Hood song?
No, you're thinking of the Canadian
Oh,
dude.
the other Canadian.
You're
Richard
thinking
Marx
Brian
not
Adams.
Canadian?
You're thinking Brian Adams.
Ah, you're right. I confused Brian Adams and Richard Marx. Richard Marx is not
Richard Marx,
Canadian?
100% easy listening, man. He's the
Okay.
Bolton. He's like another Bolton.
That's from Chicago. I don't know why I got that wrong. Okay,
Daisy
you're right.
Fuentes, dude.
Daisy Fuentes. Wow.
There's people listening right now that have no idea. Go search Daisy Fuentes 90s.
It's been a long time since I've thought about Daisy Fuentes. Man, the MTV in the
Stressing
90s
the
was
long
something
part.
else. MTV in the 90s was something else.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Back in the dial-up internet days, I might have seen an inappropriate picture of Daisy
Oh,
Fuentes.
did
Jesus,
you?
Nick, save
Did
it for the
you?
bonus show.
Did you? The dial.
Okay, I know what we're talking about, the bonus show now.
Lines.
Hold on. Okay.
It took a minute to download.
Did you wait? All right, this is bonus show content.
It was, when your reach around the world is a solo operation. That's when that. Okay, what else we got? Anything else?
That's it, guys. There's other little things out there, but come on, it's all messy. It's all messy.
Bonus, which is even beyond what you hear on the regular show, is available on patreon.com/thebestsoccershow. We do have a lot of people signing up and changing over and helping us out. And I don't have the names to check here right now, but thank you everybody who has signed up at the Best Soccer Show on Patreon.
Thank you for those of you that have already bought merch. Please, that helps the show.
You're signing up for Patreon gets you a discount on the merch, right? Okay,
Yeah.
we're not giving it away for free, but and there is a discount available if you sign up for the Patreon. So the Best Soccer Show T-shirts, obviously, Suns Out, Guns Out, Ballot
Listen,
Guns
if you're
Out.
going to give your money to someplace out there, support independent. Support people that are trying to get it done.
assholes. Sun's out, guns out.
Support your boys. That's what you do. Support your boys. All right, Mr. Dubois, you out? We're done.
I'm out.
I'll see you guys next week. No, we won't. We'll see you guys at some point in the near future. Bye.
Damn, dog, that's an approach.
Can I get a manager? Can I please get a manager?
What are we doing?
Danger zone!
Oh, it's incredible!
The Sausage King of Chicago.
It was there. Oh, here we go, saucing them up. Hit him, wet.
Go to DEFCON 2.
Who asked those questions?
I think I'm starting to like Cincinnati.
Michael freaking Arasco Fiscal.
Get to the chopper!
Jay Rodius.